Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your organic dropshipping bootcamp, where I try to take you from wherever you're at to your first $50,000 or more with organic dropshipping by going over various subjects and strategies within the organic space that not a lot of your favorite gurus touch on. Now, there are a few reasons why I could assume not a lot of people make contents on very detailed things like I do. Majority of it is because they don't do the business model, or they just simply have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. But lucky for you, you have me, an almost seven-figure organic dropshipper that's done 1.5 billion views selling physical products and has amassed over $700,000 in revenue just within the last year and a half. Now, for today's video, this is going to be lesson 4, identifying your target audience. Now, before we jump into how to identify your target audience for each individual product you run, I want to talk about why it's so important that you identify your target audience every single time you go to run a new product. Now, why is identifying your target audience so important? Well, there's a few reasons, but the very main reason is going to be so you know the type of content you need to be creating that actually resonates with the people you're trying to sell to. So not only is it just going to help you actually make the right content, but it also plays a big role in making sure that you're creating the right type of content that actually converts views to sales. And what I mean by this is you need to make sure you're able to properly identify your target audience to make sure that you're doing the correct niche and content research per product, because the type of concepts you're creating and using for the products you run can be the difference between a product converting at $500 per million views or $5,000 per million views. And yes, it is that dramatic, because if you're using a video concept that doesn't resonate with your target audience, or it's not a style of content that they regularly view, not only is the algorithm just simply not going to push it to the demographic of people you're trying to reach, aka your target audience, but if it does reach them, they're going to be completely disengaged, resulting in the video performing bad. And then on the other end, if that video does end up performing good, it's going to be people that aren't your target audience, so the people that wouldn't buy the product. This is what results in you getting high views but low sales. Of course, assuming that the product actually converts in the first place. But that statement alone is kind of a gray area, because I see it on a daily basis. People going and running, or I go look at their account and they stop running a product that I know converts X, Y, and Z per million views. But then as I go to look over their content, they're doing concepts that their product does not demand. So bad concepts, especially for their target audience. So this results in people thinking they're running bad products, when in all reality, they're just running bad concepts for that product. Now, to give you an example, I want to show you really quick somebody who obviously, isn't the most advanced dropshipper and does not know his target audience. Now, no shame towards him. He's doing decent and he's converting okay, but if he had the knowledge that I'm giving you guys in this video, he would be converting much, much more, and he definitely wouldn't be trying some of the concepts he is. Now, for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna choose one video, or the best video, to prove my point of what I'm talking about and give you guys an example. Okay, so if you couldn't tell by now, real quick before we go over this video, what this guy sells, or is selling, is a miniature Birkin bag, a miniature purse. So what's our target demographic here? Pretty easy, women. Duh. What's their age demographic? We're thinking, okay, they use AirPod cases, they're gonna want a mini Birkin. AirPods are kind of more like a fad, like a trendy sort of thing. Automatically, just with my own intuition, we're gonna get into, how to identify your target audience, after we get over this example. But with my own intuition, I can tell you right now, probably anywhere from 15 to mid 20s is gonna be your main age demographic for this product. So with that being said, that's kind of the irrelevant part. The main part is this is for women. Okay, women engage with a certain type of content, bro. They're not going to be engaging with this 13-year-old YouTube brain rot style that I'm about to show you. And this is a perfect example of what it looks like to not know your target demographic, because if he knew his target demographic, not in a million years would he use a concept like this for a product with this demographic. Classic, the brain rot. Let's see it. He's been. Bruh moment. Bruh moment. Do you really think a majority of the demographic of people that would buy this product are going to be sitting there and enjoying that type of content? They're not. That is not what's on their For You page, big dog. I mean, that's really in simple terms the best way I could put it. That is not something that they're just gonna randomly, is gonna pop, like, they don't get fed things like that. That's not what they engage with. They don't engage with the style. The algorithm is a lot smarter than you think. this kind of just goes into everything I explained before this example. I mean, 90% of who your target demographic is not going to be pushed this style of content. Okay, so now that you understand why it's so important to identify your target audience for every single product that you run, I'm going to try and break down the most simple, no BS way to find out who/what it is, and wherever I can or wherever I see fit, just to help you guys out even more, I'm gonna try to add in some examples. Now, like I said, I'm gonna try to do this the simplest way possible so you can leave this video and immediately go and apply this to your business, to the products you're running, or the products that you plan on running after viewing this video. So we only really want to ask ourselves 3 main questions. What age group are they? What is their gender? And what are their interests or hobbies? Now, if you have an accurate and specific answer for each of these questions, you already have your 90% of your target avatar, your perfect target audience. So first, let's talk about age groups. So for age groups, I like to keep it really simple. I try to break it up into like 4 little subcategories. First one is going to be young brain rot. That's the best way I could put it. The second one is going to be high school to kind of college age. The third one is going to be middle-aged. And then the fourth one is going to be straight up grandma and grandpa. Now I'm going to go ahead and break down these categories and their ages, plus some examples so you get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Now, let's start at young brain rot. This is literally going to be like 13 or 14 and younger. And yes, there is an audience within this age group that actually buys things. And 90% of the time, it's straight up them getting their parents' credit card information to go buy things off of the internet. But believe it or not, you can sell to these people. It's not as often, and there's very few select products, but it does happen, it does work. And if you don't believe me, these examples are also gonna prove it, because the first example I'm gonna show you is a $1 million product. Yes, a product that has done $1 million or more. And the other one is a multiple 6-figure product. To the best of my knowledge, it could be, you know, a 7-figure product as well. So this very first product, the classic fidget gun, okay, it and all of its variants. Now, with this example here, look at the style of content, okay? You'll notice as we go through these examples, each and every single demographic or audience or age group or gender, you'll notice a common trend within the content they are making. I tried to use examples of people who obviously knew their target audience and made their content catered to them, just to kind of help you understand even more of what I've been talking about this entire video. So boom, we're not gonna spend too much crazy long on all of these examples, just so you're not wasting your time watching TikToks or videos you've probably already seen before. But to help you out even more, I'm gonna show you a second example, another product very similar and very childish. It has your young brain rot demographic. And now a random tip for you guys. I know everyone hates YouTube. It does convert horribly, but if you were wondering what is the product that actually makes money on YouTube, I've heard of X, Y, and Z printing from YouTube. This is the style of product that converts on YouTube, a very young demographic, but that is not today's subject, so we're gonna move on. Okay, now moving on to our high school / college age group, age demographic. Who are these people? What's that age? Pretty obvious, pretty self-explanatory. So what? If you're in high school and college, it's gonna be anywhere from like 15 years old to like 25-ish, maybe even add a few years. I have one example here for you to show you the type of product that would fall within this age demographic. It's called the Zaw Straw. And really, majority of weed products fall within this age demographic. And there we go. We're not gonna spend too much time on that example. Now let's move on to our middle-aged demographic. This is gonna be anybody from like your late 20s to like 45-ish years old. Now I'm gonna show you 2 examples of 2 great products that fall within this demographic. And guys, by the way, what I mean by this is when I say they fall within this demographic, that means majority of the people who buy or purchase this product are this age or are between these numbers that I'm giving to you. So here for our first example, we have Glow Gesture, and me over anybody would know the demographic the very best. And the exact demographic for this product, maybe contrary to popular belief, is actually like middle-aged women, like literally perfect to a T, kind of later 20s all the way up to like 45 years old. There's even some grandma in there, not too often, and it's also women, about 70 to 80% women as well. Now for the second example, this product I also know very decently well. For all of my OGs out there, if you remember the account LiftLux, I was a front runner of that product. I was the second person to pick it up. That was probably like a year ago. It's actually one of my highest viewed vids is from that account. It did like 71 million views on one video on TikTok. But this is another product that perfectly falls in between middle age. And also guys, it's gonna be beneficial for you as we're going through these products, telling and asking yourself like, okay, what would I think that this the demographic for this product is, or what do I think maybe the age group or their other interests are, kind of almost training yourself while we go over these. Now, it's very obvious. The age demographic for this product is middle-aged, and of course, mainly going to be women, but it also does have a little bit of men, probably about 30-ish% men. But this one's kind of an easier one. I mean, ask yourself, no matter what, it's not going to be high school age. Sure, people underage drink alcohol, but nobody's interested enough in wine at that age to want to have wine decor, or at least a very small percentage of people would. And this one is as simple as going to hit a Google search saying, what is the main age demographic of someone that enjoys wine or wine enthusiasts? And that will give you your answer right then and there. That's gonna lead us to our next topic after we go over one more example. And this last age demographic is gonna be what I like to call your straight up grandparents, okay? 45 or older, really, okay? And just for the fuck of it, I'll go ahead and show you, an example of what one of these products would look like. This is like an assist thing to get out of the car. Yeah. And this converted at like 500 or less per million views. You could assume why. It's a horrible product. But the main reason is a lot of people don't know this. But understand that 45 and older only make up for 13% on TikTok and 14% on IG of the age demographic on these platforms. So with that in mind, there's literally almost never a reason to run a product that has this age demographic, which is just one of the many reasons why you should know your target demographic before saying, okay, I'm gonna sit down, order, and run this product. Because if I sit there and I identify the target audience for a product and I say, okay, wow, well, the main age demographic for this product is gonna be 45 years or older, I can automatically say, then it's pointless for me to run that, because they are literally the minority on every single platform besides, literal children. Now, before we move on, of course, I'm sure there's been one or two situations or one or two products within this age demographic that have converted decently. We're just talking about overall averages, and just think to yourself, where are you gonna have more of, are you really gonna try to play that game of, I'm gonna run grandparent products, even though I know that statistically they have the lowest likelihood of making me money? You get what I'm saying. I'm only saying this as a precaution because I know somebody's gonna be in the comment section like, oh my God, I knew blah, blah, blah that did this with this product and this with that product. Okay, just use common sense. Now, the second question we're gonna ask ourselves to identify our target audience is pretty simple. What gender are they? What is the main gender that would enjoy or use or be interested in this product? Is it gonna be male or is it gonna be female? And then, of course, every now and again, you have gender neutral, where both genders enjoy the product just as much as the other. Now, 99% of the time, there's gonna be an overwhelming majority of a certain gender that is interested or is actually going to be your target audience for this, or majority of your target audience for a certain product. Now, sometimes it's really easy, kind of like the purse product. Of course, that's going to be majority women. Anybody with common sense could just look at that and assume that. Sometimes it's a little bit harder, maybe with something like Glow Gesture, for example, or like Lift Lux. But you're gonna find out the best way to at least get a rough idea on who or what gender it is that is the majority when we move on to the later part of the lesson, where I explain, kind of the best way to go and get these questions answered if you can't just naturally answer them yourself. Now, the final question you wanna answer, and this one's kind of a gimme, but still, we're gonna dig a little bit deeper. You'll understand what I mean by that in just a second. But this is gonna be, what are their interests/hobbies? Now, of course, the main thing you're gonna look at is, okay, do they enjoy anime? Is it an anime product, a car product, knitting, etc., etc. But we can also dig deeper than that. And now this one doesn't matter as much because you're kind of inherently gonna know this just by looking at the product, or at least I'd hope so. But this really matters most for your content, so you can actually do proper content and niche research. But what I meant by digging a little deeper, this is something I like to do every now and again. Maybe if I'm starting a product and it feels kind of slow, or I just want to jump the gun, or maybe I'm running out of content ideas. I ask myself, and I start doing research into basically what would be the common interests of X, Y, and Z demographics. So for instance, somebody that smokes weed, or the weed demographic. Let's say you find your perfect audience for a weed product, which we've kind of already established just by going over examples in this video. What's something else you could assume a large majority of them are probably interested in? First thing that comes to my mind is maybe rap music, or certain artists, right? Or maybe if I think, okay, this is gonna be male oriented, they're gonna like Lil Baby, and they're gonna like this or that, or this or that. And this is what I mean by digging deeper. So for example, how does this play out in real life? Let's say I went and ran a weed product. Right? Of course, your first assumption is just going to be, obviously we can't use the word weed and whatnot, but text hooks targeting people who enjoy smoking weed. And then of course, probably your first assumption is gonna be going to play some Bob Marley, some reggae, some OG Snoop Dogg, you know what I mean, type shit. But I would also ask myself, what are some other things they could be interested in? And then like for a simple example so we can move on, I would ask myself, okay, what are other sounds they would be interested in? Could easily assume, okay, it'd probably work and it'd probably still target this demographic if I used a Lil Baby sound or a Gunna sound. And now I know this is a really kind of bland example, but I hope this kind of gets across what I'm meaning by digging deeper outside of just, okay, this is my demographic and this is what they like, this is what I'm gonna do. Because there are niches within niches, okay? There are interests within interests. Now, moving on, understand that no matter what, you're only gonna get better at these things and just kind of naturally identifying who your target audience is over time. But here are a few tips for those of you that may be super beginner, or maybe you just simply are bad at identifying your target audience, you're bad at products, whatever the case may be. Here's kind of the best route for you to go and identify your target audience without you having to use your own brain and kind of just assuming. I mean, even outside of that, you could use this just to be sure, just to make sure that you're right when you assumed your product's target audience. Now, this method, plain and simple, ridiculously valuable. I've never seen anyone else talk about this ever on a YouTube video. I mean, nobody even talks about target audiences regardless, but this one's crazy, okay? You're gonna go research your competitor, and now we're talking, if you found the product from somebody else's account, which majority of you are, majority of you don't run untapped products, but we'll get to untapped products in just a second. Assuming you found this product from any account, big, small, viral, not viral, doesn't matter. You're going to go research their low to medium most viewed videos. You're then going to sift through the comments and look at the comments. The reason I say their lowest engaged videos is because if someone is engaging with a video with the lowest engagement, there's a higher chance that that's their actual target audience. Because the more views a video has and the more your video grows, the more your actual target audience kind of gets washed out and the more broad the audience or the engagement for the video becomes. And some random value for you guys. This is also why you'll see videos for any of you that have ever had a video do like, I would say anywhere honestly past like 5 million views, it doesn't matter the platform. You'll notice that your conversions start dropping dramatically. You'll go from maybe converting at 2 to 3K per mil, and then every million after like 5 million, you're converting at like a few $100 per mil. And this is only because your target audience simply gets washed out. Just the sheer volume of views and engagement, of course the video just kind of gets more and more polluted with this super broad audience. But back to our subject. Once you're in the comment section of these super kind of lower engaged videos of your competitor, you're simply just gonna start researching their accounts. Click on name after name after name. Of course, if you see a comment that really shows like, oh, I love this. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Oh my gosh, I want it. These are the people you're looking for. Based off of that, you're gonna go look at their accounts, look at their interests. Maybe they actually post videos. I'm sure they repost a lot. What's their bio say? What kind of profile pictures do all these guys have? Are they normal people? Are they women that are straight up just like actual real life people, like that are just straight up, cutesy girly? Are they kind of more tomboy girls? Are they anime lovers and all of their profile pictures are straight up anime people? Right? You can get so much information just by doing this method. It's honestly probably, out of anything I'm about to say, the very best thing you could do. And it's gonna give you the most accurate depiction of who you should be creating your content for. Now, for those of you that only run untapped products, which is very few of you, but if you're advanced enough to be doing so and you actually make money from it, and you don't have this resource of a competitor that you can basically do your own research upon his own viewers, then you can get a pretty rough idea of your target audience by Googling or asking ChatGPT these few prompts. Now, to help you better understand these prompts, we're gonna use an example product. So let's just say I was about to run car rugs. So rugs with cool designs on them in the car niche. Maybe they just had, various different brands of cars with cool lettering and whatnot on the rugs. I would ask ChatGPT or Google. Really, you're gonna be best off with ChatGPT, but understand the reason that this isn't the method for everybody to just go and use is because there almost always is going to be a gray area when asking, AI or Google these questions, because there's so many caveats and all these different specific things for each product. It's not gonna be as accurate as every other method I just gave you. But anybody and everybody can still use this method to be sure or still to double check and just get more information in general. And this is obviously specifically for the guys that run untapped products mainly. So you're gonna go ask ChatGPT, what is the percentage of male and or females that likes or enjoys or has an interest in cars? Now, of course, the more specific you can be, the better you're gonna get, your actual target demographic when asking AI these questions. because there's different car niches. Like there's different interests in cars. You have like the guys who like the JDM stuff. You have your guys who, you know, just clap out their cars running around in Honda Civics and shit. And then maybe you have your car guys that, you know, like exotic cars, right? So the more specific you can be, the better. Now, I would ask ChatGPT next, what is the main age group of individuals or people that drive cars or are heavily interested in cars or spend a lot of time going to car meets or this, XYZ, etc. You understand what I'm saying? So basically, think to yourself, you could even turn this into a few different questions, just trying to squeeze out the best information you can from AI. And now this one's really kind of beneficial to everybody. And this kind of goes into what I was talking about earlier when we were talking about their interests and hobbies and how you can dig deeper to come up with even more content or hit an even more specific demographic. But you can ask ChatGPT something like, what are some other interests that car lovers normally also have that are X, Y, and Z age group? And once again, use your own brain for these guys. You could split each and every question I just gave you and every prompt into like 3 or 4 different questions. Remember, the more detail you put into these questions, the more accurate of a response you're gonna get. Now guys, once these 3 things are established, you now have this perfect avatar for you to cater your content to. And now on top of that, using this information, you can easily filter what content to be researching as a whole, like sounds, hooks, concepts, etc. But best of all, you'll keep yourself from creating content that is killing the conversions of your product and not making you any sales. Before you go, I do want to let all of you guys know, if you enjoy these videos or you're sitting here like, oh my gosh, this guy is a genius, he's an absolute wizard at organic, because I am. And you're like, dude, I really want to work with this guy. I really, you know, I can't wait on all these boot camps to come out. I can't wait a week, 2 weeks for every boot camp to come out. I want to start cooking right now. Well, lucky for you, I have that opportunity for you. If you want to work with me personally and want to get personally mentored by some of the best organic drop shippers in the space to take you to that next level faster than you ever could on your own, then you can click the link in the description of this video to book a one-on-one discovery call with me personally, where we'll discuss your current situation and see if you'd even be a good fit to work with me and the team, as we don't just take on anybody. Now, with all that being said, that's gonna conclude lesson 4 of your organic dropshipping bootcamp, how to properly identify your target audience and why it's so important. And if this is your first time seeing me or this is your first time seeing a bootcamp video, I recommend going and starting all the way at lesson 1 and watching all the way to the most previous bootcamp video made. There's a ridiculous amount of value in there. Now, for everybody that's already been following along, I will see you on the next one.